Welcome. Today I'll be performing a pre-departure check, or as it's commonly known, a vehicle inspection. There are many points to an inspection. Today we are dealing with the basics. Some of the tools you will need are a pair of gloves, keep your hands clean and safe, a rag or a wiping cloth, something to check the tyres with, and maybe even a torch, and the key of the vehicle. We're going to start by checking the registration of the truck and the trailer, which is located around the other side on the window. Here on the window we have the registration sticker. Make sure that it is current and that it is fixed to the vehicle. Check the date and the plate on the sticker. It's registered until the 6th of July 2015 and the plate is SB90CT, which should match the plate at the front of the vehicle. SB90CT. Now we have to go down to the rear of the trailer and check the registration of the trailer for exactly the same thing. Registration plate at the back of the trailer, registration label alongside it. If the label is not next to the plate at the rear, it may be anywhere on the side of the trailer, so just locate it. This one is registered until the 4th of June 2015 and the plate is YCA126. Now that we've done the registration of the truck and the trailer, we're going to check the fluids of the vehicle. We've got to lift the bonnet. You've got to lift the side clips. I've done the one on the other side already and I'll do this one now. You can lift the bonnet from either the side guard or from the front of the vehicle, whichever is easiest for you. Grab my rag. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check the engine oil, which is located here. Give it a wipe. Find your high and low markers on the dipstick. And check the oil. Good level. Make sure you do it back up again. Quick inspection of the hoses on the side of the engine, just to make sure that there's no splits and there's no clamps that are loose. Look for any damage to any suspension, any bolts missing or anything broken. You don't need to be a mechanic to identify problems. Around the other side we have the other fluids that we need to check, so we'll go and do that now. This one here is the power steering fluid. It has a dipper the same as the oil. Undo the top. It has a hot and a cold reading. The vehicle is cold, so we'll use that reading. The coolant overflow tank is on this side of the vehicle. The header tank was on the other side. So we just make sure that we have coolant between the high and low markers and that we're good to go. This small bottle here is for the windscreen washer reservoir, which a larger bottle is located down underneath the passenger door, but you fill it up from this point here. Once again, make sure that there's no damage to any parts of the vehicle, that you can see that there's no bolts missing, there's no damage to your suspension, and then put the bonnet back down again. Now, lowering the bonnet is better to be done from the front so that you can control it when you put it down so that you don't drop it and damage it. There's a small grab handle here, just using your arms here, gently pushing the bonnet forward and then securing the clips back in place. One on this side and one on the other side. The last fluid level to check is the diesel or the fuel. Two methods to check the diesel, by dipping the tank or by using the gauge in the cab. If you have an older vehicle and your gauge doesn't work, simply take the cap off, find something appropriate and clean to dip the tank with, touch the bottom of the tank, get a fuel reading on the dipstick. We've got less than a quarter of fuel, so we need to fuel up. When climbing in and out of somebody else's vehicle, remove your gloves. Don't put grease in the cab. Now I'm going to enter the vehicle using 3 points of contact to climb up, and then I'm going to start the vehicle up so that I can finish my vehicle inspection. Starting the vehicle up to check the gauges to continue the vehicle inspection. The park brake is on, gear lever is in neutral. Turn the ignition on, wait for the gauges, particularly checking the air gauges over here on the right and the oil pressure gauge here on the left. Clutch in to start it, turn the key. Make sure that all warning lights go out, except of course the park brake. Okay? There's enough air in the tanks there, and the oil pressure gauge after a certain amount of time will come down. Continuing the vehicle inspection, the headlights are on and the right indicator is on. Starting at the top of the vehicle, look for any signs of damage. Working your way down, the lights at the top are working, there's no damage to the windscreen, the headlights are both operating, the right indicator is on, and there are no visible leaks underneath. We have the correct signage on the vehicle, we have the number plate, and we have the L plates for the driver training. I'm just going to move around the vehicle in a clockwise direction. Once again, picking a section, no damage to the vehicle, making sure that the tyres are inflated and that they have enough tread. We're looking for 1.5 millimetres of tread on every tyre on the vehicle. You can tell that the single vehicle is pumped up, however, if you'd like to make a reference of it, you can strike the tyre for its inflation. Make sure the windows and the mirrors are clean as you move around the vehicle, and there's no damage to report, there's no leaks from the fuel tank. The toolbox is secure. The air lines or the couplings to the trailer are locked and secure. That the release handle to the trailer is in, and that the kingpin is actually, the jaws are around the kingpin. As we move around the vehicle, make sure that the guards are not loose and all the tyres are inflated. Once again, checking the tread on all wheels. Ensure there is no damage to the trailer and that the lights down the side are all functioning and working. Make sure that the wind handle is up and stowed safely and that the legs are up correctly. The tail lights are working on the prime mover, as are the right indicator. Once again, the wheels at the back. These are spider rims. Make sure that you have a reference point with your inflation valve to tell whether or not you have any slippage in your rims and whether or not they need to be tightened. Moving around the back, ensure that there is no damage from the top to the bottom and that the doors are closed and locked safely, that your load is secure. Correct signage on the back. Do not overtake a turning vehicle, L plate, number plate and registration as I mentioned earlier. Same thing down this side, look for any visible signs of damage and report where necessary. Check the inflation of the tyres, location of your air valves for any slippage in your rims. Lights are all working down the side, the door is closed and the load is secure. Once again, the guards are tight and the tyres are inflated. This is the battery compartment. Make sure that the batteries are secure. And that they're not going to go anywhere. These are the air tanks for the braking system. What we need to do is make sure there is no moisture in those tanks by opening the valves or pulling the cords. Look for any visible signs of damage to this side of the vehicle. Make sure your windows and your mirrors are clean and there's no leaks from the fuel tanks on this side. And the front tyre is inflated. What I'll do now is I'll enter the vehicle, I'll change over to the left indicator and I'll pull the trailer brake lever down so that I activate the brake lights and I'll do another trip around the vehicle. This is the trailer brake lever. That will activate the brake lights on the truck and the trailer for us. So now it's a very quick lap. Brake lights are now functioning. Brake lights and the left indicator on the rear. As we come up the left side, you'll see the brake light and the left indicator on the prime mover. And lastly, up the front, you'll get the left indicator. What I'll do now is I'll return to the cab, I'll release the trailer brake lever, I'll put the hazard lights on, and I will supply the air to the trailer so that on my third trip round, I can make sure that I have no air leaks. Okay, now I'm listening for any air leaks on my truck and trailer or prime mover and trailer combination and making sure that my hazard lights are working. Listening on the way round. Hazard lights are functioning, everything's okay. Last thing I do on a vehicle inspection, or a pre-departure check as we call it, is to perform a tug test. This is to ensure that the truck is connected to the trailer via what they call the fifth wheel, the kingpin and the jaws. Selecting a forward gear, I'm going to apply the brakes on the trailer, remove the brakes of the prime mover and gently pull the clutch up so that the two units tug on each other to make sure that the jaws and the coupling are tight. And I should probably close the door for this one for safety. And that concludes the vehicle inspection.